All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for My Hero Academia, Season 4, Episode 20.
Bakugo's special birthday episode.
Indeed it is. And we're going to have a gentle episode, of course.
Yes.
La Brava.
I've said this before, but I can't fully communicate with words just how happy I am that this is happening.
That we're getting this arc here.
This is the kind of thing that I always wanted from MHA with like the side characters and stuff. But then at the same time, it's a culture festival and they're going to be doing music and oh my god.
It's basically Horikoshi just saying like, hey, you want just these characters to be themselves doing school stuff, and then we have the most off-the-wall, ridiculous villain that might be like more of a commentary on hero society than an actual villain. But like
a simple man trying to make my way.
But you can't tell if you're supposed to feel threatened by him.
Oh man,
okay, boomer. You know?
I feel like this is the equivalent of when in a D&D campaign it's been too many like life or death, fate of the universe.
Oh,
like,
sure.
You know, climactic conclusions and all that stuff in a string.
So we're just going to go to a circus and have fun.
Now we just get to go to a circus where there's nothing that the DM is saying you have to do this or whatever. It's just
a bunch of mini games.
Just do stuff. Have fun.
Do stuff,
And I love it. I love it so much.
I love it too. And we have ourselves a little bit of not really a contest of sorts, but basically a way in which UA as a school is a little bit on edge with regards to a lot of things that have happened. And this is a part in where Class 1A can kind of take a leadership role in helping calm the nerves, essentially, of a lot of the other students. And that's a really cool thing for Bakugo, specifically Bakugo, to have mentioned in the previous episode. To where I'm like, okay, what's going to be the final evolution of that? And we get to see where, you know, all of Class 1A is going to be divvying out their resources with regards to that. But I kind of want to see, like, from these students, you know, some students, maybe one that we haven't seen in a long time.
Studies. They brought up general studies. I'm just saying.
Also, another heart that needs to be assuaged, you know, saved here,
definitely.
Is the precious girl Eri. And we've got Mirio, our goodest boy, who's going to be a babysitter, and he's going to just take her around the culture festival and just be, you know, just wonderful.
With maybe Aizawa, you know, just sort of
he's the ice cream carrier. You know?
Exactly.
He's the one who keeps the winning of like the things like from the mini games that they'll do or what have you. He'll be holding a big plushie. You know,
giant plushie. I would love it. I would love that so much.
He might even crack a smile here and there. Oh, yeah. All right, so y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, then be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, and then come back here for the discussion. All right.
There we go.
La Brava.
Oh boy. Okay.
Oh my god. Yes.
So we got this episode, and this episode was a bit more of a transition episode, I feel like.
I think it was primarily just setting up like what developments, if anything, happen within the prep needed for the actual culture festival,
and then what the stakes will be for the conflict.
Right. Yeah. Not just with regards to Eri, but with regards to the school faculty, Hero Society,
Police,
Gentle and La Brava, Deku. And there's a lot of this that seems to be something that, like in this episode, where you could take it and go, okay, there's not actually really anything of value to it with regards to the overarching conflict. But I think there is actually a couple things being brought up here. One is that the idea of what kind of sacrifices, like little sacrifices, are needed to be made by, you know, the school members and such like that in order to make sure that we are taking care of the hearts of our students and what have you. So it's a continued evolution of that, which was brought up in the previous episode. And Eri was kind of the main focus of that. until we actually got to Gentle and La Brava.
Yes.
And we found out what his motivation for this big thing is, in addition to setting his mark in history.
And also his backstory.
His backstory.
Introduction.
Oh my God. And we didn't even get that much. It wasn't really a hard backstory. The main thing was just when he decided to make his first video.
Right, and this is how they got introduced to each other. Like, there you go.
Okay,
there you go.
I'll just say, we're doing this whole discussion out of order, but
totally out of order.
But I gotta say, one of my biggest nightmares, is literally what happened here with Gentle and La Brava. Is basically someone being, you know, that kind of crazy to hack into everything and find out
where you live
and just show up like,
yep, yeah.
But the ridiculous wholesomeness of MHA turned this like ridiculous partnership into.
And this is not serious, but just for the sake of the joke. But if that person showed up and said, "I'll help with editing,"
way back then.
Thank you.
That's true. It was like 10 months or like over a year before we had any editing help.
Yeah, like oh boy.
We have horror stories of early editing.
And I can only imagine what it's like where a lot more is going into the actual creation of the video, because like for the kinds of editing,
also to get dislike bombed and comment flamed, you know,
like when you're just starting out, like that's horrible. Suck. Oh man.
But the fact that of all those comments or what have you, like I just love that he communicated his dreams so effectively,
right? And
in the first video, meaning he really put himself out there. So Gentle, like, might actually be a really good guy.
Yeah,
like a really good guy, and yet he just doesn't know what he's doing. And he's kind of stumbling around trying to become relevant, you know, essentially. Like, maybe this is some kind of commentary that they'll do once we find out what his quirk is, and we find out that he maybe has a quirk that he literally, like, needs to be careful how he uses. Otherwise, you know...
Well, it seems to be like, some kind of, like, changing the bounciness of other
I have a
things.
Theory about that.
Because both him and La Brava were able to make the jump.
Well, okay, I have a theory about that. That's La Brava's quirk, 100%.
But okay, potentially. However, they did say, why don't we just use your quirk? He's like, well, they'll have people patrolling the skies.
Oh, okay. You think that's okay?
Yeah.
Because maybe it's just then the design bit of La Brava, but when she was running around getting the tea, she was going boing 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 boing. So
gotcha.
I almost thought that meant that was La Brava's quirk. Rather than Gentle's. But if that is Gentle's quirk, that actually makes a lot more sense, because then he could just bounce over the fences.
Right.
Although I'm sure that they have some kind of invisible dome of security that, like...
Or just cameras.
Or just like, cameras where you see a bouncing guy up there, immediately triggers
someone
the alarm.
Hopped to the fence, you know? Like,
no regular person is going to...
whatever, you know.
Even though there are a lot of people with quirks like that, probably, is going to jump the fence into UA when they could just clearly walk through the front door just fine.
Exactly. Well,
with, you know, through security.
Well, also... Okay, right. No, that's right. It's the culture festival, but they made it specifically just for the school. So it was not open access for you know, everybody.
Well, right. So we're not going to see like Shiketsu High show up or anything like that.
Right, exactly.
It's specifically for UA.
But we did get general studies. We got like, you know, we got
we got a still of Shinso.
Okay. So I feel like this just goes to show that maybe. Yeah, it wasn't quite as clear what a hit Shinso was.
That's fine.
As right away, you know.
Because I think Horikoshi as a mangaka is one of those mangaka where he doesn't like the spotlight, you know. He doesn't want to be, you know, drawn, getting a lot of attention to for him physically, rather, you know, specifically like his work. If I remember correctly, actually just seeing some kind of interviews of sorts with Horikoshi, I think he would like literally wear masks and stuff like that.
That is a very common
thing.
Like a lot of people, even if they're really successful with their manga or their light novels or whatever, those fake names, and no one, not even like family or anybody, will know that they actually do it.
Yeah. That's very common. Yeah. But that might be the thing, is that fan reactions aren't influencing the story. So Shinso isn't really one that, you know, was as like a ridiculously popular.
He probably didn't blow up in the way that he did until he got animated, right? You know, Whereas Hatsume Mei, that was probably a lot easier to see that like she was going to be a hit, you know, because waifu power.
Oh yeah. Speaking of waifu power, but in the most wholesome protect kind of way, the fact that Eri was basically escorted around by our boy Mirio, and then Aizawa was around at least on the premises,
right? Just to make sure that. Yeah.
I like that there's confident enough in Mirio and, you know, just the whole, you know, grounds and such that Aizawa literally doesn't need to be like physically present. He just needs to be on call.
Right. Close by,
just in case.
Yep.
Because it's not something that's going to happen so dramatically.
Right. And he was there. He was a lot like more like, okay, right there at the beginning when she showed up, you know, just to make sure that like she wouldn't like freak out just from like, you know, getting swarmed with people and all that stuff.
And she seems to be doing great.
Yep. She seems to be doing great. I don't want to focus on what Mineta said because.
Yep. Me neither. Let's just move on. Yep. But hey. One of the things that was really cool, I really liked this bit here, was Kirishima noticed her from super far away. He actually didn't encounter her through the entire, you know, dungeon crawl. He never actually physically encountered her. He knew who she was, of course, through the briefings and everything.
Yeah.
But the idea that when he like yelled out to her and stuff like that, oh, you don't know who I am. But I think it was either him or Ida actually that I think that said this. But it's like, you're from the work study. Oh, no, that was Ida.
Okay,
Ida said that. And when they said you're from the work study, it's like, wow, that's such a redeemed way to look at it.
Yeah,
not you're from the hero raid on the Yakuza.
Right. You're from the abusive, you know, like parental sort of relationship with the, you know, supervillain that we had to fight.
Right. It's a wholesome way to connect her to the school because even though she's really young and she doesn't know what a work study is.
Oh, yeah.
She was isolated all this time. Yep. The idea that they're using, even though it's unfamiliar terminology, they're using something that connects them to her in a way that it's subconscious, subliminal, and it's really just wonderful.
It's a connection with her to the school in their minds, and that's something that she can probably pick up on.
Yeah. Like just intuitively.
Yeah, and I love how welcoming they all were and all that, and you know, Uraraka and Suyu just sort of, you know, running up and being like, oh, you're
and
so
everyone
cute
thinking
and
that this is Mirio's daughter.
That was wonderful.
Because Mirio's not like an adult. I'm pretty sure he's like 17.
Yeah,
you know,
maybe 18.
Maybe 18.
Right, but
that's like the thing of like, whoa, Mirio, you haven't been around. Is that why you because they couldn't tell anyone about the work study.
Right, exactly.
You know.
Yep.
Like that's a bit there. Oh, that's also potentially
also because he lost his quirk. So
well, yeah, exactly. That as well. But that actually is something that I have to admit I might have messed up here on actually. Is it because they're calling it the work study, not just because for Eri's sake, but literally because it's a secret they can't talk about still with the other students?
No, I think it's fine.
It's fine now.
Yeah, no, yeah, because they ended up realizing later, like I think Ida and you know and some of the others, like, oh, this is what you were dealing with this whole time.
Okay,
you know?
Okay, cool. Yeah. All right, my bad.
Yeah.
So we ended up getting kind of a tour through the whole culture festival deal. My favorite little random encounter we got this episode was actually Class 1B saying how we're going to do
Monoma with it.
Yeah, we're going to do the what was it? It was Prisoner of Azkaban, Return of the King, fantasy extravaganza.
What was the other?
Yeah, it was the first thing, but I'll check it out really quick. But basically, like, what is this? Some kind of bad D&D mission they're gonna do here?
That's awful.
It was. Oh my god! It was so funny. Oh, Romeo and Juliet.
Prisoner of Azkaban,
Return of the King. And the way it's set, like a Star Wars, Harry Potter movie poster. Like
It's a completely original script
written by us. Now here's the thing.
But just look at everyone in their poses and such.
I know.
Tetsu has like the dark wizard kind of look going on.
Well, okay. I'll bet just from those names we can figure out almost exactly what the plot is. And I love that Monoma is in like I'm the Aragorn hero stand-in.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
But okay, so Romeo and Juliet, that's fairly straightforward.
Right.
Prisoner of Azkaban, that's probably either the aspect of it that's the Romeo and Juliet, or that's the external conflict that drives them apart, right?
Sure.
Is that there's a prisoner that escapes, and it's Return of the King. The prisoner of Azkaban is the king that is breaking out in order to take his rightful place at Hogwarts. Or wait, maybe that's where it breaks down. He goes, and they get separated because one of them is like the child of the unrightful ruler that then is going to get deposed by the rightful king who the hero is helping break free.
But then they all have to kill themselves at the end.
Well, no, it's a high school thing, so they're not going to end in a double suicide. No, it's not a double suicide. It's just that everybody ends up dying. So, I mean, they could do that, but they have the other movies in there, so they don't have to. But it's going to be something where then they have to overcome the differences and maybe rescue the princess from her evil father that is the evil king, so that the rightful king can rule, and blah, 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 and that's
someone has to transform into a werewolf. And then there's going to be time travel.
That's going to be Tetsu. Tetsu is the prisoner.
Right. But then there's also going to be time travel. And that's what the green-haired girl is going to be. She's going to be basically the goddess that brings in the time travel mechanic that resets everything back to the beginning.
So that they can have a happy ending. And that's how they avoid the Romeo and Juliet ending.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
It writes itself. Yeah, it's completely original, too.
Yeah.
And I'm actually going to be quite impressed when I see, highlight clip of, like one of the impactful scenes. Like, we're probably not going to see the whole thing, but we're probably going to see, like, a specific scene or what have you. And it's going to be the most overdramatic acting. I'm here for it.
This is making me think of, on the one hand, Toradora with their whole thing, right?
God.
You know, but then also Haruhi, where it's we have a whole episode dead, which they wouldn't do because this is class B and they don't deserve that kind of attention. oof. But and I'm sure they could do some fourth wall breaking stuff with Monoma being like, yes, this is our time in the spotlight, and then somewhere
exactly
else.
Right.
But oh man, just having a whole episode for this would be hilarious.
Yeah, if that actually happened, I would be completely content, especially if it was like actual filler. Like the idea that like in the manga, maybe it's like, 3 panels or something.
It's like Horikoshi approved filler where he's like, you go for it, Yeah.
That actually would be a really depressing thing if we find out like Horikoshi wanted, filler of this originally in the manga. Like, not really filler, but, like, wanted to go more in depth into it. Mm-hmm. And then the editors and the marketing people are like, no. Like, Shonen Jump's like, no.
Or it's like the...
Too boring.
What's the name of that show? Like, the Mystery Science Theater 3000?
Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Yeah, where it's Class 1A watching the thing, and they're just giving all, like, the commentary of, like, wait, hold on, what is
Deku's
this?
like taking notes about the time travel, like multiple dimensions, and he's like, I'm keeping track of the plot lines, and somehow it's actually starting to make a lot of sense.
No, but then you have people like Kaminari who are just like, this is awesome, and then Monoma's like, yeah, and then you have everyone else that's just like, no, this is horrible.
This is actually stupid.
Yeah.
Gentle and La Brava. I am here for this really odd and weird couple, and the fact that like she initiated and went out there and found this guy. It's like, I reciprocate your feelings. I'm going to make your dream a reality. And the idea that he's like, I'm doing this as a way to finally reciprocate my feelings towards you.
Yes.
And he's like, I'm serious, La Brava. Like this is not him trying to manipulate her or anything. Yeah. This is him being like, you mean so much to me. Yeah. And they just collapse out of the desk chair or what have you. He's like, you gave my channel so many more views with your helpful, editing and technical knowledge. And I love the idea
of this like boomer like YouTuber who might not even be that old. Like he might be just like very proud of his mustache that makes him look mature.
I am waiting for there to be a point where like he finishes a shooting or whatever, not like like shooting a video,
and takes off all this stuff.
And he just takes off all the stuff like
and then we're like, haha, he's actually a young man.
That could be how he escapes a lot of the time. He just like ducks into an area, quickly takes off everything, and like stuffs it in a bag, and then he just leaves.
And cleans off the makeup.
Yeah,
and
cleans off the makeup.
Completely different.
Yeah, and he looks completely different. And there you go. It could also be just jumping, and going really far away. But but it could also be that,
Yeah. Okay, I'm for that because I would like him to get away.
Yes,
I would like him to be a recurring character. I don't want him to get caught doing what he's doing.
What I would love to see...
I want him to remain notorious.
What I would love to see happen is he causes trouble at the festival. The students handle it, right?
Right,
but the thing is...
They try to keep the alarm from being set.
They keep the alarm from going off, and it's
even though that's what he wants.
Well, and then what happens is he ends up getting away... But the thing is, he's not live streaming, right? This isn't some Periscope or whatever.
Sure,
he has to properly edit the footage.
So it takes him time.
So then, once the Culture Festival finishes, then the video goes up of, I infiltrated the Culture Festival. And all the police are like, the alarm never went off. Like, what happened, It's
fake. Staged. Fake.
Yeah.
And he's just going to be like, they don't believe me. La Brava is like, Gentle, don't worry. This footage is so legit. Over time, they'll eventually realize it had to have happened.
Yeah.
And maybe eventually they'll like interview those really nice students that didn't completely kick your face in. And, like they'll be like, yeah, he did come in, but he was actually like a very dangerous, threatening villain. And we took all of our energy to ward him off.
I would love to see something where he's about to make his daring escape. And then Aizawa's just nearby and he goes to jump and he just... and he's like, uh-oh, this usually works.
And like we see it in like the recording bit only. Because it's YapTube and he doesn't want to get demonetized, he bleeps out his own swear word. Like so we don't see it in the actual real-time bit there. We see it later.
He just looks at like Deku or whatever who's like trying to chase him or whatever, and then he just runs. And of course that doesn't work. Oh man.
I can see so many scenarios where this is great. Although I really like the idea that he's saying the heroes will be stronger for this.
Yes.
Because if I'm trying to take this seriously, one of the things that I think they could do here is that Deku's obviously going to be the main person involved with, I mean, he's the main character. He's
and the perspective up top,
that sets him up.
That sets him up for it, yeah.
Yeah. So what I would really want to have happen is to have a moment where he like Nakama's Gentle. Like he legitimately talks to him.
Yep.
And he understands Gentle's dream. And instead of it being a thing where like he actually makes him like friends or makes friends with him or something like that, it's a thing where it's a more wholesome version of Stain where he understands Gentle and he goes, okay, like with Stain, I understand that you have a problem with the way things are going on, but like, I'll let you in on a little secret. Like I'm going to be the greatest hero ever. And, I'm going to remember what you said here today. Or remember who you were.
And also maybe Gentle realizes, like, oh, if I do this, this will actually have some pretty negative consequences on the students.
Right.
Okay, yeah, I'll do it in a particular way. I'll wait to post it until the thing's over. Or
I'll edit out all this stuff specifically.
Right, exactly.
And make it a different kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's the way that it can be the alternate version of the AU that you wanted, which is where he helps Jiro's like music career or something like that. That would be amazing. But that actually could be it. It's a thing of where he's like, yeah, I'm going to go and we're going to use high power recording stuff and we're going to make videos about how amazing UA students are or something. Like redeems his YapTube channel and then he goes skyrockets into...
And it also helps redeem UA because there's all this like flack and everything because there's the idea of, is it safe, right?
Oh,
and then he goes around and he shows... Look at what an awesome place this is.
Doing.
Yeah. He's like, I was gonna do something illegal here, but I just couldn't. Just look at this place. It's great.
The security was even pretty good. Like, I actually had a hard time getting in here, but thankfully, because of my quirk, which will remain nameless.
Which, by the way, if you would like to hire me as a security consultant to UA, I will happily help you, reinforce things. Yeah.
No, that's what Brava's going to do. She's going to be that hacker that gets hired and stuff like that.
She sends a resume, or whatever.
I hacked your network.
Yeah.
It took me about 2 hours. I can make it more difficult for you if you cover up these weak spots here in the defenses of that.
Man.
But guys, this was a fun episode.
Yep.
We are getting some build up for what's coming next, and it is like coming next episode. Like it has to be.
They did a time skip this episode.
Yeah, the time skip was basically there to set us up for the real time kind of events.
Yeah.
Of the Culture Festival.
Also, last thing, tinfoil theory or whatever. Hatsume Mei with her little rotoing camera thing could be something that they're seeding here because it ends up being relevant later in that she ends up being able to use that to help find Gentle or whatever, given like a perspective on what's going on. If they do something like that, I'm just wanting to mention it here in case it happens.
Also, it's another Harry Potter reference in the same episode.
Oh, yeah.
I just found that
it's like a bigger snitch.
Yeah, it's a snitch.
Yep.
Oh, but she saw Deku and All Might training together alone.
Oh,
and it's
that's
a snitch.
right.
It's called a snitch. So,
that's right.
Like, that's something we can't just
You know what? I think Hatsume Mei, she's solid. She wouldn't tell anybody.
No, she literally doesn't care. Like, that's the point. Deku's she's not even noticing me. And then suddenly she notices him and she's just talking about, her babies and what have you.
Yeah.
So she's a one-track mind. Like, I deal with my crazy cool inventions and not get noticed by super big companies and get filthy rich, or not necessarily just for the money, but for the actual bit of having her creations be seen and appreciated by people. But y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, you can, because we're watching these live weekly. I always forget and just say this anyway.
But no, you could have just kept going and they wouldn't realize
but it's better this way. So if you want to check out our timer full-length reactions of these, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. Any level of support gets you access to our Discord, where you can chat with us and the community there about this show, about anime in general. There's an MHA anime-only group in there, MHA manga group in there. All that's pretty cool. And you also talk with Jacob about the sci-fi novel that he wrote.
That's right. I wrote a sci-fi novel. It's called Battle Lines, and it is not a Romeo and Juliet, Prisoner of Azkaban, Return of the King. You should definitely check it out. It's on Amazon. It's really cool. Links in the description below. It's in both hardback and ebook for inside the US. Ebook only for outside the US because international shipping. Yeah. But go check it out.
Yeah, if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.